there, and welcome to Rockwall, Texas Living, the biggest blog on the smallest county in Texas. I'm your host today, Evan Matteson.
And I'm your co-host, Richard Matteson.
All right, it's year in review, 2013, and what a crazy year it was.
Yes, it was.
We got lots of numbers to go through. Let's do it.
All right. So here's the year and the number of solds in each category, 0 to 120, 79. Then it starts growing, 120 to 150s, 174, 150 to 250, 604 sales, and then 250 to 400, the higher end to 361, and then back down to 200, which is a good number in the 400 and above, all the way up into 2.6 million.
We've seen that pick up.
So you can see 1,418 homes sold.
Yeah.
And that is the best over a 4 or 5 year period, even probably more than that.
Yep.
But that's what we have notes for. And you can see the percentages. 97% is the real list to sale price.
Mm-hmm. And so everything in Rockwall area kept very close. I'll point out one thing, the DFW Metroplex as a whole was more like 94% list to sales price. So Rockwall outdid the DFW Metroplex, and I will also point out that the Matteson Group closed out the year at 99.1% list to sales price. So for those of our clients that, for instance, were selling a $200,000 house, we helped them achieve $4,000 more than the average real estate agent in the Rockwall area. I'm very
that's
happy
a great
about
thing.
that.
So if you know friends who are in this area that are waiting to list, touch base with us. They'll get that extra 2% probably on their sale.
Cool.
All right, and then the days on the market, 83 was the average, but you can see right here in the middle where we have a lot of sales, 61 was the average.
And that came down a lot over the previous years, as well as this number, the 121 in the upper over 400 came down as well.
Right, and the Matteson Group is even less than that days on the market.
Matteson Group average for this year was 42 days on the market. So that was really good. We beat the average again.
All right. And then we have a lot of viewings. You might tie that. We put that in there because it shows you the activity that's going on to produce these kind of numbers. And you can see here, the bulk of them happen in that 150 to 250 category. A lot of viewings.
Tends to be the Rockwall sweet spot.
Right. And it also shows you that it's a very busy market, even though there are less homes on the market.
Right, yeah. Less homes, but yet there's more activity. So it's been very crazy. And then all of this leads us to months of inventory. We've said this before, 6 months is a balanced market.
Yeah.
Anything over that tends to move into buyer's market. Anything under that tends to move into seller's market. For the last 10 years that we've been doing real estate, it has been predominantly a buyer's market.
Yeah.
And it has moved strongly into, in some areas, a hyper seller's market where you have less than 3 months of inventory here, less than 4 months of inventory, less than 5 months. So, and this number is technically over the 6 month mark, but we've seen this as high as 2 years, so 24 months. So 8 months of inventory in the 400 plus is amazing.
Awesome.
Yep.
Okay, so we get a little perspective in going from January all the way to December, and we see here that we're in the 300s as far as our amount of homes on the market, which is really low in comparison to other years.
Yeah, typically.
And
we'll talk about that.
you can see our sales start to increase as we move towards the sweet spot for selling during the year.
Which is in the summer months.
And then you can see how the showings begin to increase also. And then we go ahead. You got
so everything's increasing. All of everything actually across the board increases as we move towards summer months.
Right, and then we move into the summer.
We crest into that 400 point, and then we have a whole bunch of sales, and then we get on the backside of summer, and we start seeing the numbers of listings on the market come down because they're selling, but not as many are coming on the market to make up for the ones that are selling.
And we see showings drop also.
Absolutely.
And there are a few other things people are interested in doing in the late fall.
Holidays and whatnot.
All right, so you see the totals. We're now at about 320 in inventory as we turn into January. 1,418 sales for the year, and then 17,000 showings for the year.
This 320 number sets us up in 2014 to start with low inventory, and really, from everything we've seen, it's going to stay low inventory throughout the year while interest rates increase. And the only one that's going to be able to make the difference there is more new builds coming on the market to kind of help increase us back into 400, 500, where we've been previously. I don't know that we're going to have that happen.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. So then let's look at the years. We go all the way back to 2009 in our own data, and we see how high the amount of actives is and how it's decreased, and then we see the year sales, how they're increasing. So as the listings drop, there's an increase in purchasing. How does that happen?
It happens because there's demand. Texas is a great state to move to. A lot of companies are moving their clients or their customers and
Yeah.
their workforce here, and it's kind of created like I was saying before, a hyper sellers market that we haven't seen in over a decade and longer.
Right.
This is amazing when you can say that 1,400 homes sold, and yet this is the inventory we have. And then when you look back to 2009, you see 500 on the market and just under 900 sold. So
Right.
that's pretty staggeringly different.
Some of this is they're staying on the market longer. Here, some of them are only staying on the market for 1 or 2 days.
Right.
So you can't get your inventory up.
Right,
All
exactly.
right. So then some implications. Well, there is a natural yearly cycle.
Yep.
That we see that happens. We talked about the sweet spot being in May through August.
Yeah.
All right. And then go ahead.
So there's homes for sale, but it's low inventory. But like we were just talking about, there's more sales. So that has really, as we've been pushed into the seller's market, that's really made it difficult for people that are buying. And sometimes with our clients, it's been interesting. We're really having to pay a lot more attention. It used to be that we'd say, get your home, on the market, and then we'll look for a house. Now we're almost having to say, let's look for a house and get your home on the market, because if it's priced correctly and it's in good condition, it will typically be under contract within the first week.
Right. Then the third thing we talk about there is interest rates are low. I
Yep.
heard one person brag that they got a 2.75 loan
That's awesome.
this year,
Wow.
but their all rates are already up to 4.5 as we begin January
Yep.
2014.
Yep. Time on the market is low, as we were mentioning before. So in past years where we've seen a normal of 60, 90 to 120 days, as we've moved in over the last 2 years, we've seen that drop significantly. And then this year, it came down to where it's 2 months, 1 month, but that's an average. So clearly there's going to be properties that maybe aren't priced right or don't have the right condition, and so therefore they're on the market longer. But those that are priced right, from our experience this year, from those that have been priced right, they're under contract within the first week, which can be crazy.
Yeah, and for that 320 that are on the market, we could just throw out an estimate that a lot of them are not priced right or they'd already be gone.
That's true.
All right, so the next thing is percentage of list to sale prices at 97, fluctuating up into 98%, which is, when you think about the fact that that's a market that's just rolling along really well,
Right.
it's very helpful.
Yep. Lastly, less home available is going to drive more people to new builds, and those are really, as I was mentioning before, those are really the people that are going to have to fill in the gap of the supply and demand. I think a lot of sellers are going to stay in their houses this year because they just got there. But for those that decide that it's the right time to move, or they're being relocated, or they need to move up, or they need to downsize, it's going to be an interesting and challenging year on the sales side. There's going to be a lot of positives, but then when they go to the purchase side, unless they're moving out of this market, it's going to be interesting.
And you're rolling us right into the implications for 2014, and
Yep.
those are, you're still going to have that yearly cycle continue.
Yep.
And homes for sale there's still going to be a low inventory. That will continue too.
Yeah, the sales are going to definitely remain strong, and what's possibly going to give us even further increased sales is this raising interest rate. That's going to get a lot of people off the fence, because they're going to say, I want to lock in at 4.75 before it goes to 5.5 or whatever, and because that difference in 0.75% on the interest rate can be, depending on the price of the house, can be $100 to $300 or $400. That's a pretty significant difference in just a 3/4 of a point.
Right.
On a monthly payment, and that's not going to principal.
Right, and those people are chasing interest rates.
Yeah.
There are two other people that will help. The people that went through foreclosures when they were very heavy, they're commitment to not buy a house is going to wane, and so 2014 and on,
Might see
there
some
will
of
be
those.
larger amount of people coming back from foreclosure.
Yep.
And then there are the millennials who have taken on their grandparents or their great-grandparents' interest, and that is to look at a house as an investment.
Right.
So all of those things are gonna really affect the market this year.
Absolutely.
Time on the market is gonna continue to be low, and that's good for houses, as long as they're priced right and they look good. And the percentage of list to sale price is gonna hang right there about 97 to 98.
Yep.
What are the last two?
Foreclosures and short sales. There's been very, very few of them, and we've heard lots of talks about shadow inventory and back and forth. When you go onto the market right now, it's very hard to find a foreclosure. It's actually almost easier to find a short sale than it is a foreclosure.
That's for sure.
But both of those, that said, both of those are in the minor category for what's out there. It is a lot of owner-occupant, people being relocated for work, still owner-occupant at that stage.
Right, and we do business with a loan company that said just the other day, they have several locations. They did 30,000 loans and 2 foreclosures.
That says a lot.
Yeah, it
A
does
lot.
make it. Okay, so thoughts and stories, just the fact that everything's moving fast. There was a house that was put on the market at 6 p.m., about 4 to 6 p.m. in the evening. I made a appointment for my client for 9 a.m. in the morning. I took a contract with me to the appointment. We signed the contract there. By 10:30 the next morning, the house was off the market, and that is in the 150 to 250 bracket.
Yeah, and I would say one of my stories would be, and it's actually been repeated for a lot of our sellers this year, is when we come in, we'd say this and this and this needs to be done. Everything has to be perfect when we go on the market. When it goes up on the MLS, you can't have a 1 or 2 day lag in the photos getting up there. So everything has to go live at the same time. There's a lot of real estate agents that do delayed release, and whether it's they're busy or whether that's a marketing game plan or what, it's not a good scenario in this market. And so there's a lot of work that goes into the very beginning of it, behind the scenes, so that it can go on, hit the market completely perfect, and then when it does that, we can pretty much guarantee it's going to be less than a week. You're going to be under contract.
Right.
It's just been crazy.
In fact, the realtor on that one I just told you about, he called me and said, "Hey, could you take down the coming soon sign off of our sign?"
Yeah.
He says, "You know, you can have it.
Yeah.
I don't want to drive across town to get it."
Yeah, it's crazy.
So we are your trusted real estate advisors.
Yep. And we're going to continue to provide you a joy-filled real estate experience moving into 2014. We've also added some new team members this year. We've got Aaron Bruce and Steve Perkins, and so they're going to be able to continue to help us facilitate our clients as our family of clients grows.
Right,
So,
and just a week away tomorrow, our Saturday is our annual gratitude gathering.
yeah. So all of you should be getting an invite for that, and in the mail, and then also on Facebook. We're looking forward to seeing you there. Last year I think we had around 70 people, and this year I think it's going to be around 100. So it's going to be very exciting, and lots of crepes will be eaten.
And some good rewards for all those who come will happen.
Yes, that's actually a really good thing. Before we close this out, there will be drawings throughout the event like we've done before, but there's going to be a special drawing this year for people that have recommended us to their friends, family members and neighbors, and we're really excited about that. It's going to be a really cool prize, and it's a way for us to say thank you for trusting us and passing our name along to them. So we appreciate that, and we look forward to taking care of your family, friends, and neighbors this coming year as well. All right, we're learning a little bit more about Rockwall, Texas together every day and keeping you informed on the crazy real estate market.
Woo.
We'll see you next time.